Michael, and hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by. This time I'm coming at you with I guess a relatively fitting video for this time of year. Coming at you with a video, about something which a lot of you may not even know existed. It's really kind of cool to think that Criterion actually released probably the very first high-end and also widescreen home video release of the movie from 1978 Halloween that ever existed in North America anyway. I'm coming at you to showcase the Criterion Halloween LaserDisc that was released in 1994. And as I said, in North America anyway, I think this is the first time you could get this movie in a widescreen format, of course, being shot and released in the 2:3:5:1 ratio. If you watched Halloween in North America up until this point, you probably saw the pan and scan VHS version. You're missing like half of the screen or whatever, so it was really a treat for me in 1994 when this came out. I think I got my first LaserDisc player in the spring of 1994. It was actually from a pawn shop. It wasn't even new. The only way I could really get one is get one from a pawn shop. So it was really cool how I had, LaserDisc player already by the time this came out. The Halloween Criterion LaserDisc. There's so many things that were just so great about this release. First of all, it's obviously got under the special features here, new widescreen digital transfer in the original aspect ratio 2:3:5:1. And this is the very first time there's ever been commentary for this movie. I'm pretty sure this commentary is still featured on, it has been featured on DVDs and probably now Blu-rays and stuff. It's what they're calling a screen-specific audio commentary featuring writer, director, composer John Carpenter, writer, producer Deborah Hill, and actress Jamie Lee Curtis on her big screen debut. You've got Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert give splatter movies 2 thumbs down while praising Halloween in a controversial 1980 sneak preview segment. We've got the original theatrical trailer, and what's really cool is I don't know if this has ever come out on any other release after this release. You've got separate music and effects audio track, which is really, really cool. Additional footage shot for the 1980 television release. Photo essay on the making, marketing, and the mimicking of Halloween. Illustrated filmographies of John Carpenter, Donald Pleasence, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Genre guide by John McCarty, author of splatter movies Breaking the Last Taboo of the Screen, including capsule reviews of cold-blooded killer movies from The Bad Seed to Halloween 5. This other stuff here, I guess I'll just show digital pictures of, so you can pause and read it if you so choose. This, of course, being the front cover. And how cool is this? I mean, this far into the game, so many people have probably forgotten about the original poster art for Halloween, with so many releases not even including it from, I don't know, maybe a lot of releases do include it, but I think this late stage in the game, maybe a lot of distributors have forgotten about the original poster art, which is just amazing. I think this cover is just so striking and so awesome. What I kind of like about what Criterion did with the title is I've never been a fan of John Carpenter's, having his name above his titles with the John Carpenter's Halloween, John Carpenter's The Fog, John Carpenter's Christine. I just think that's just, I've always hated that, method of doing something. You've got hundreds of people that work on a movie, and for this guy to have, be such an asshole, he's got to put his name above the title. I've always hated that about him. So what's really kind of cool about this release is Criterion kind of downplayed it almost as small as they possibly could with just a really, really small John Carpenter's above the huge title of Halloween, of course. I don't think I mentioned it yet, but this is a CAV release, which is the the standard play for LaserDisc, which means on any player whatsoever you can do, you know, freeze frame, slow motion, you know, freeze frame advance and all this kind of stuff. Of course now we can do it with any DVD or Blu-ray player, but back in LaserDisc days it was a big deal if a release was a CA, or if a release was a CAV release, particularly with people without that didn't own high-end players, because you could really scrutinize, do, you know, frame by frame advance, slow motion. You could really scrutinize frames in the movie if you so choose, if you so wanted to. But also in my experience, the CAV release also had better image quality. It's just something that I kind of cared more about than the ability to freeze frame or frame by frame advance or slow motion or whatever. So this being a movie that's like, how long do they say it is? 93 minutes, of course. If you have a CAV version, only half hour of video per side of disc. We've got 2 discs and 4 sides for this particular release. Of course, you've already seen the front cover. I think their presentation of the back cover is absolutely fantastic with, is her name Annie? I want to say her name's Annie laying on the bed there with the jack-o'-lantern glowing and Judith Meyer's headstone there. Really a classy and cool release. And you gotta, you know, remember, I mean, at this time, Criterion, 1994, I mean, they were still kind of new. I'm not exactly sure when they started, if it was, you know, probably the 80s or whatever, but this release obviously has got the digital sound and, you know, the original mono, of course. This was, I remember this sounds so good. This was such a thrill. This release was such a thrill to this. At the time, you know, over the years, my Halloween fandom has kind of waned, but at the time, I really, you know, liked Halloween, the movie, when this came out. Not, you know, I mean, I don't hate it, but you know, I'm not crazy about Halloween franchise these days. I'll just try to show you in the best way possible with just still photos the inside here as best as I can, so you guys can pause and read all of this in contents if you guys want to. Really pretty great release. And I'm pretty sure if a Criterion release like this, that was like a CAV 2-disc release, this probably set me back by $100, I think, in 1994, which, you know, yes, I mean, in 1994 it's even a lot more money than it is now, but I mean, for a huge fan of the movie at the time, and knowing that that's, you know, the very first time we're going to be able to see the Panavision widescreen and stuff like that, it was worth it for me at the time. You know, obviously I got this right after its release in 1994, and definitely got a lot of use out of this thing after I got it, because, as I said, I was a huge fan. God, it's just crazy to think that this release came out before, you know, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, you know, was made and hit the theaters and stuff. This is an old release. So here we've got the actual disc, Halloween disc 1, side 1, Criterion collection, of course. Oh wow, look at what they did. I forgot all about this. It's orange on side 1 and black on side 2. That's kind of fun. And once again, orange on side 3 and black once again on side 4. So thank you very much for watching this video showcasing the Criterion LaserDisc release of Halloween from 1994. Just think, as I said, I mean, this is before Halloween 6 was out, to say nothing about like the movie Scream and Halloween H2O and stuff. This release is really kind of old now that I kind of think about it, but yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, even now it's probably still a pretty good quality release, of course. I mean, standard definition, of course, but I can just remember, you know, when I'm holding this thing in my hand and thinking about it and talking about it, I can just remember how amazing it was to watch this in 1994 and being like, I mean, not a lot of people had LaserDiscs, you know, players in '94, and you know, another thing that added to the fun and elitism, if you will, the feeling of a, you know, a huge movie fanatic elitism at the time was like, yeah, I'm one of the few people in 1994 that even gets to see the full, you know, Panavision aspect ratio of Halloween, not to mention just this quality and the sound quality. I can remember the mono track on this LaserDisc just sounds on decent sized speakers. so good, and it's just like, you know, you got some low end oomph on certain sounds, and oh my gosh. But anyway, so often is the case, I'm rambling. Thank you very much for watching this video showcasing the Criterion Halloween LaserDisc. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, we'll catch you on the next video.